float level is what was causing some my idling issues, is because the float was it was down here, down there instead of up here. So I didn't have, when I took something went out of adjustment in between, I don't know, somewhere between all my carb changes. I assumed that the float level was okay, but something happened, and the float was, you know, instead of having this parameter, which is a 1564 stroll bit, instead of having that sort of clearance, I had this kind of clearance. So the bowl wasn't filling up as high as it should be, so the idle circuit could pick up the fuel easier at this level. It was trying to pick up the fuel at this level, so it was struggling. So as soon as I raised the float up, I think I would assume I probably had like 10 millimeter clearance instead of 6, so it was like down here. I mean, you could hardly tell. I mean, you could put the drill bit in there and it just, you know, I mean, this is the way too, though, by the way. It's a little funny how you do 850 carbs. You're supposed to check the float level when the carb top is vertical like this. So you're supposed to hang it like that, not like this or like this, but hang it completely vertically so you don't squeeze, you don't pinch down on that little ball. It's a spring-loaded ball, and the needle right here. So the goal is you can actually watch it when you're doing this, holding it up, and run a drill through it. And what I usually do is, you know, hold a drill or some other piece of metal that's 6 millimeters. 1564 is close to it, but you can use like a 1/4 inch drill bit. It's probably even better. It brings the level up even higher. Okay, just a little bit, maybe like 5 or 10 thousandths. But you put pressure on the ends here to squish out. You have to have a gasket in there because that's the spec. I guess you could probably take a measurement of the gasket and do it without a gasket too, and just add it. Like, say it's like, you know, 7 or 8. Yeah, you'd have to be 7 or 8 millimeters, something like that, because a gasket might be like a millimeter thick. So that's how you do it. Put pressure on here to flatten out the gasket, and then run it under there and get it just a touch. So this is as soon as I checked the float after having, you know, vacuum concerns with here, which, you know, of course there is some vacuum leakage here on just about every carb I tested. You know, there's some, you know, as long as you spray something here, you're going to get some sort of change in your idle. But I didn't detect anything here. Whatever I sprayed here, I tried propane. I tried this starting fluid, which is recommended, but I think, you know, let's see, maybe something like this, like a carb cleaner, is also usable, but I guess this is pretty, well, they're both flammable. But you can use that thing and kind of squirt around here, and you'll get the idea if anyone's having vacuum leak issues. Around here too, where maybe if you're going to do removal of some emissions things. But anyways, that's how you do the float. And I'll just have to say that it's, I guess, ultra critical to how the engine performs. And, you know, my issue was I just assumed, and I shouldn't have assumed after, you know, having problems with the car running well. I should have probably just checked the float right away. Well, you learn all the time. Like I say all the time, I'm always learning something. So, of course, I should have known. I mean, everybody knows how to adjust a float, except me. I didn't know about holding it vertical, really. I had to read about it. Well, I knew, but I forgot. So that's this thing. Here's as I brought this thing out to look at it, I noticed, oh, not this one, but this one. I got like 3 of these carbs that are the same. Oh, I noticed this. Here's a little screw. Instead of a plunger, I put in a screw on this thing, and it's I guess, let's see if it'll come out with this monster screwdriver. Oh, I guess it does. So here's a different installation, which I haven't shown yet, where it's threaded in here, and I put a little slot in that screw, and I have it in here temporarily. I would probably put some sort of sealant on there, and that way you could plug up your another emissions hole that goes up this path like I described before. And here I think I just have this here as a placeholder, this different approach that I don't think I've ever put this on a car yet. It's just kind of holding here. Oh, look at that. I don't even know if this would work, but yeah, this approach is I guess if you would put sealer on this and sealer back here, because the screw isn't going to do much, I don't think. Just plug up the hole that was there, because this is just a chopped off piece of the emissions. But doing it this way, you don't have to put a plug in here, because this is open to the, once you take this thing off, it's open to the body of the carburetor. You can see that pointer going through there. So if you do take this off, you don't have to plug this. You have to plug this and this, especially this one. Goes right into the carb throat. So anyways, I'm just going to hold, I just hold on to this as like some concept or idea that I had that I can use in the future. Here's one of those little arms that I described before, where it did something else up here. Here I didn't install anything here yet to plug that hole up. So all these are like work in progress, or I was just doing some testing. So I just wanted to review how to do the float setting, because it just eliminated a lot of problems I was having from, not a lot of problems, the car was just really erratic in how it was performing, and a lot of issues with idling. And it was all, as soon as I changed the float level and put it on, it pretty much smoothed out everything. It just became much more controllable. So